I did not mean for my outfit to almost match the book cover. Welcome back to a new book review. Now, the book we are going to talk about today is Macrons at Midnight by Suzanne Nelson. Now, I did not mean for my outfit to almost match the book cover. It is currently Thanksgiving as I'm recording this before we have festivities to go to, and I'm wearing my favorite shirt ever. It's got, look at that! I love this shirt! But anyway, this is about a girl named Liz, who the names are strange in this, and I don't know if it's because it's set in England or what, but we see her moving from Boston to New York to live with her father and her stepmother and stepsister. And she is having a hard time adjusting to this, especially because her sister is a year older and kind of more in the popular crowd, whereas she is kind of reserved and doesn't really care to be popular. We see her kind of getting ready for this Valentine's Day party, and she's dressed as like a frog for some reason. I don't know if they specified it was a costume party, but it is. So with that being said, let's get into the characters of this book. Now, Liz is our main character, and she is just turned 13 in the book. And we also have Viv, her best friend, who, after getting off on the wrong foot, they get to know each other. I don't really like Viv much, and I'll explain why in a bit. And then you have their friend that really likes bugs, who for some reason I'm blanking on his name, but I'll put it here when I remember. And the main love interest of this book, who I'm also blanking on the name of, I think it's Raj is his name. So, sorry if you can hear my phone going off, it's Thanksgiving texts coming back in. With that being said, let's get into my thoughts on this. So, I picked this up from the free little library on a whim just because it looks cute. And because I liked the concept of it, because it says on the back, after a chance meeting, they meet again a while later, and they're not the same as when they met the second time. I thought that meant they would meet as kids, and then years down the line they would come back together, and he wouldn't be the same. But no, it's not that long after their first meeting that they come back together. And on this chance meeting, Liz had went to a party with her stepsister, and it hadn't gone well. Viv accidentally stepped on Li's dress, which she was borrowing from her stepsister, so she was like, now my stepsister's gonna hate me because I ruined her dress, and yada yada. And she ends up running out of the party, where she comes to this French sweet shop, and inside she meets a boy who she doesn't know the name of, and he doesn't recognize her because she is wearing a mask, and they just kind of chat the night away, testing sweets at this shop called Spoonful of Sugar. They eat macarons and just enjoy each other's company, but then they split off. And they're like, wait, I had this connection with this boy, yet I know nothing about him. He maybe doesn't even go to our school. I want to try to find him. So that's mainly what the book is about, is finding this prince, basically. It's kind of like Princess and the Frog and a Cinderella story kind of thrown together, because she was dressed as a frog, so they call her the Frog Princess, and that's what she goes by. But later, after finding out that they do in fact go to the same school, and he is like the lead editor on the school paper, she finds that he is not the same carefree, funny boy that she had met in Spoonful of Sugar. So instead of just coming out and telling him the truth, she gets Viv to pretend to be her because she doesn't think that she likes Raj now compared to at Spoonful of Sugar. So she's like, Viv, pretend to be me so that I can keep Raj, like, so I can figure out if I like him or not. And all the while she makes friends with another boy named Kane who has a huge crush on Viv. So you can kind of see that there's going to be an obvious outcome. Like, it ends up being that Viv thinks that she is in love with Raj because he's a nice boy, he's easy to get along with. But Viv is the type of girl that goes from guy to guy like every other week, sometimes less than every other week. So, understandably, Lies is like, are you kidding me? You know I like him. Why would you sit there and take him from me? And I'm just like, well, if you'd have been honest with him from the jump and told him who you were and got to know him, other than throwing your friend at him to pretend to be you and expect them not to be spending time together, that's kind of on you. Which is the main point of this book. Like, if you'd have told the truth from the beginning and got to know him as is, you wouldn't be jealous right now because Viv is spending so much time with the boy you have a crush on. But that becomes a main point of drama. And all the while, Kane is back there oogling over Viv because he's had a crush on her since like preschool. It just becomes this love story about people who made a connection, just learning to figure out who each other is. And Raj is like, well, I get along with Viv online when he was actually talking to Lies online, but I don't get along with her in person. But I get along with Lies online, but not in person. So he was like, what's going on here? All the while Kane's in the background like, I love this girl and I can't tell her because she's way out of my league because she's a model and I'm a boy who's into bugs, and what girl would want a boy who's into bugs and yada yada. And all the while you know that it's going to turn around and either Lies is going to realize she likes Kane, and Kane's going to realize she likes, or he likes her, and they're going to, Raj and Liz are going to get together because they realize they like each other, or vice versa. I was thinking it would go either way, but it ended up being pretty predictable on who would get with who, and the whole point of the story was be honest. If you have feelings for people, just be honest about it and tell them the truth, because you never know if they're gonna like you unless you ask. And it's better to take the chance to find out than it is to sit there and let your insecurities be like, there's no way they'd like me ever. Because you don't know unless you ask or they ask you. You have no idea. So you could be missing your chance to find someone you genuinely connect with because you're too afraid to come out and ask them outright. It's better to ask and take your chance. The worst thing that can happen is they reject you and say no. That just means they're not the person for you. That just means that the person for you is someone already in your life that you have not known about, or it's someone you haven't met yet. But you'll never know if the person you like likes you if you don't take the leap to ask and be honest about it. And that's kind of what this whole message of the book was about. Because everything ends up working out in the end. And if you're looking for a kind of drama, but kind of relaxing, easy love story with no spice, mind you, which was refreshing. Not every fantasy story or love story has to have spice in it to be a good romance or fantasy story. So it was refreshing to not have that in it, and it's just an easy read and a good read, but sometimes you want to take the characters by the shoulders and be like, would you just be honest? Would you just tell the truth? The worst thing that can happen is they don't feel the same. Then you try again with somebody else you like down the line. Just try again. But I enjoyed this story. Was it predictable? Yeah, kinda. Was the message kinda to the point? Yeah, but it was fun. And I think it's written for kids, but because they are in middle school, they're like in 8th grade, because they're about to go into high school soon. But the way that the book was written, it was written like they talked like adults. Yet they're supposed to be in 8th grade. Like they used words that adult writers use in their stories. And it sometimes made the tone a bit weird. But other than that, it's a good book. So, if you're looking for a short, quick little romance with no spice, especially around Valentine's Day, or you just want something cozy to read, this is a good one to pick up. I got this from the little library, so it was good. I would have never picked this out from the store. I've never seen it in stores, and it's a good little story, so I'm glad I found it. Next, I'm still on my I Want a Fantasy break, so I'm going to go into Alaska by James A. Macrons? I don't know how to say his last name. Why is the author's name bigger than the title of the book? I don't know. But this is one that my grandma picked up when we went to that library book sale a while ago at this point, and she decided that the writing in the book was far too small, so she just got the book from her library anyway. And then she's like, well, if you want to break from fantasy, this is a good one to pick up, because supposedly it's about the people that first decided to live in Alaska and settled there, and how they moved their camps and how they survived in such a harsh environment. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. I don't know what's going on with my camera and why it keeps flashing colors and not, but it's never done that before, and I hope it fixes itself. Bye, guys.